Chosen one. Heaven took notice. The moment you obeyed, when others hesitated, you said yes. When others mocked, you kept walking. You didn't obey for applause. You obeyed because you heard the whisper of God louder than the noise of the crowd. You may not have realized it then, but that moment marked the opening of a divine ledger in heaven with your name written on it. Every act of obedience, every small surrender, every time you said yes when it would have been easier to say no, it all counted. Heaven saw what earth ignored. The angels wrote down your obedience as currency, and that ledger is now maturing in value. While others chased quick blessings, you invested in obedience, and God is about to release the return. Listen carefully. The delay was not denial, it was divine accounting. The books were being balanced. There were records of faithfulness that only now are being accessed. You thought heaven forgot. But no seed of obedience dies. It only waits for divine rain. You obeyed when others questioned your faith. You stayed faithful when others walked away. They thought you were losing, but heaven was preparing your inheritance. There are blessings tied to specific levels of obedience, and because you endured yours in secret, your harvest will not be small, it will be supernatural. There were moments when you looked at others and thought, why are they moving faster? Why do they have what I prayed for? But what you didn't know was that God was protecting you from counterfeit provision. He was keeping you from being funded by the wrong source. You were never meant to be financed by the world system. You are now stepping into divine funding. God Himself is about to underwrite your next chapter. The Spirit says, you will not beg for what heaven already budgeted. Provision is coming not because you asked louder, but because you obeyed deeper. Heaven is funding what obedience built. This is the season where God's resources chase the righteous. Beloved, this is not just a blessing, it's a response. The Creator responds to faithfulness. You may not have seen the reward instantly, but obedience always moves the unseen world. Every time you trusted, even when it hurt, you triggered an invisible transfer. Now that transfer is being released into the visible. This is why storms tried to break you. The enemy saw the ledger before you did. He knew heaven had marked your obedience. So he tried to make you quit before the balance cleared. But you stayed. You prayed. You obeyed. And now, divine funding is coming like a rushing wind, supernatural connections, ideas, and open doors. Chosen one, understand this. You are not being blessed randomly. You are being rewarded righteously. There is a difference between luck and legacy. What's coming is not luck, it's legacy. Because of your obedience, your lineage will eat from the fruit of your faith. You didn't just obey for yourself, you obeyed for generations. Your obedience became intergenerational currency. It broke curses and built bridges. Heaven's economy works by obedience. It releases what trust authorizes. Now, as God releases this provision, remember, this is not a transaction, it's a testimony. You are the proof that obedience still pays. Let these words anchor you, as Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 11, verse 28. Blessed are those who hear the word of God and obey it. So rise. Chosen one, lift your head. You obeyed when they didn't. And now God Himself is about to fund your life. This is your confirmation. Heaven's resources are being released. Don't doubt it. Don't question it. Receive it. declare it, and walk in it. And when you take your next step, remember, you're not walking into chance, you're walking into divine arrangement. Every meeting, every door, every opportunity now carries heaven's signature. You are not chasing provision anymore. Provision is chasing you because obedience redirected your destiny's flow. Your obedience has unlocked what prayers alone could not. The same God who saw your sacrifice is now assigning abundance to your name. Prepare to witness divine acceleration, where what once took years will happen in moments. Heaven is not just funding your life, it's fast-tracking your purpose. Now, as a prophetic act of agreement, comment the number 777 below, symbolizing divine completion and heaven's funding being released over your obedience. And if this message reached your spirit, like, share, and subscribe, so this word continues to find every other chosen one ready to step into their funded destiny. You entered a season where silence felt like punishment, but heaven called it preparation. While others sprinted ahead with noise and display, you walked quietly with discipline and tears. You didn't see it then, but the silence was never a void. It was a classroom. The wilderness became the university of obedience, where heaven refined your focus and purified your motives. Chosen one, it was in that hidden season that your real foundation was laid. God stripped you of applause so he could anchor you in authenticity. The isolation wasn't rejection, it was refinement. He couldn't allow your promise to be placed in untested hands, so he separated you to strengthen you. There were nights when you cried, "God, have you forgotten me?" But in truth, he was closer in silence than he was in your breakthroughs. The teacher is always quietest during the test. Every unanswered prayer was heaven's way of building endurance into your soul. While others were celebrated publicly, you were being fortified privately. Those who took shortcuts seemed to prosper. They ran on manipulation, connections, and convenience. But you chose conviction. You didn't trade your peace for progress. You refused to sell your soul for visibility. That decision cost you time, comfort, and even relationships, but it preserved your anointing. What looked like delay was divine strategy. The wilderness didn't shrink you, it revealed your worth. It taught you to rely not on applause, but on assurance. It made you understand that obedience isn't about immediate outcomes, but about eternal impact. The people who mocked you will soon marvel at what silence produced, because in that stillness, God wrote, "Your next chapter, chosen one." If you could see the way heaven documented your discipline, you'd never doubt again. Every unseen act of faith became a building block in a foundation the world cannot shake. Your current stability is the fruit of silent obedience. And what's being funded now isn't your comfort, it's your calling. God doesn't fund pride, he funds purpose. That's why your waiting season lasted longer than others. He wasn't preparing the blessing, he was preparing you. It's easy to shout when doors open, but he needed to see if you would worship when none did. You passed that test not perfectly, but faithfully. There's something sacred about being hidden. When the spotlight is gone, only truth remains. Heaven watched how you handled obscurity. Did you still serve? Did you still love? Did you still believe? And you did. That's why your next level will not require striving, it will attract itself to you. The silence trained your spirit to discern. It made you aware of divine timing. Not just divine promises, You learned to wait without whining, to pray without proof, and to believe without applause. That's spiritual maturity, and it's rare. Heaven funds maturity, not momentum. Now, as the new doors begin to open, do not despise the season that taught you to depend on God alone. Without that silent preparation, you would not have the capacity to carry what's coming. What used to feel like delay was in fact divine defense, God protecting you from premature exposure. Let these ancient words echo in your soul. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 27, verse 14. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. Waiting was never meant to break you, it was meant to brand you. You now carry the mark of endurance, the fragrance of faithfulness, and the authority that only time can produce. You are no longer anxious for outcomes, you are aligned with divine order. In this new phase, remember the rhythm of the wilderness. Don't rush what heaven is still arranging. Stay sensitive. Move when He moves, because the same God who met you in silence is now the one orchestrating your funding in abundance. Your quiet season became your qualification. It separated you from the impatient and prepared you for inheritance. You are ready now, not because you forced a door open, but because you became the kind of person heaven can trust with open doors. So, when you see others celebrating quickly, bless them, but never envy them. You've been built differently. You carry depth where others have display. You carry process where others have performance. The silence didn't bury you, it branded you as trustworthy. Heaven funds trust. Heaven funds consistency. Heaven funds endurance. And because you obeyed through stillness, your name has been moved to the next level of divine financing. Every project attached to your purpose will find supernatural sponsorship because your spirit was trained to wait. The season of silence is over, but the strength it produced remains. Let the world see the fruit, but never forget the soil it grew from. Your silent obedience has now become heaven's loud response. You remember the moment obedience cost you everything. The friendships that faded, the opportunities that dissolved, the comfort that was stripped away. It was never random. Heaven was testing how much you were willing to lose to stay aligned. You didn't realize it then, but that surrender was sacred currency. Every yes you gave in pain became a seed in the soil of destiny. Chosen one. Obedience is not obedience until it costs something. Anyone can follow when it's easy, but you followed when it was costly. You obeyed when it made no sense, when logic screamed to stop, when your heart broke under the weight of sacrifice. That's where heaven leaned closer. That's where your name became known in the courts of eternity. People saw loss, but heaven saw investment. You were sowing in tears what you will soon reap in abundance. Every time you walked away from comfort, heaven wrote it as a covenant. The pain you endured became proof that you loved God more than outcomes. And when love is proven, heaven releases power. There is no obedience without a cross. The chosen ones always walk through a crucifixion of comfort before the resurrection of calling. The dying of your plans was not punishment. It was preparation for the unveiling of God's plan. The moment you let go of control, heaven began releasing what was rightfully yours. You have to understand this truth. God funds what costs you something. He doesn't pour divine resources into shallow surrender. He funds the fire-tested. He funds the faithful. You endured the furnace of obedience. And now you are emerging, refined, qualified. and ready to carry heaven's provision. The pain of obedience was not wasted. It trained your hands for spiritual stewardship. It stripped away pride, purified motives, and positioned you for divine trust. You lost things, yes, but you gained access. You lost comfort, but gained covenant. You lost people, but gained purpose. That exchange was heaven's economy at work. There were moments when you asked, was it worth it? You looked at what you gave up and felt the ache of emptiness. But look again. Chosen one, the emptiness you feel is not loss, it's space. Space God has reserved to fill with divine funding, unexpected favor, and resources that align with your true purpose. When Abraham lifted the knife in obedience, he didn't know a ram was waiting. When you lifted your sacrifice, you didn't see it. But provision was already hidden in the thicket. Heaven never asks without preparing the return. You obeyed. And now, like Abraham, you are about to discover that obedience attracts divine substitution. Your lack is being replaced by God's supply. And you must remember this: obedience is louder than talent, louder than eloquence, louder than strategy. Heaven doesn't respond to noise, it responds to obedience. That's why doors are about to open, not because you networked, but because you obeyed. You are being remembered not by people, but by God Himself. There's a unique sound. Heaven recognizes it's the sound of surrender. Every tear, every yes, every sacrifice carried that sound. And now heaven is responding with the sound of release, funding, favor, and divine partnerships are converging because obedience has spoken on your behalf. Let this scripture settle deep into your spirit. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 2. All these blessings will come on you and accompany you if you obey the Lord your God. You see, obedience attracts pursuit. Blessings don't just arrive, they chase. You are now entering a season where you won't have to beg for opportunity. Opportunity will recognize obedience and come find you. Your obedience created spiritual magnetism. Heavenly resources are drawn to it. Every test was a transaction. Every surrender was a signature on a divine contract. You may not have seen a return immediately, but heaven was building compound interest on your faith. The longer the waiting, the greater the yield. What's coming won't just replace what you lost, it will exceed it. So, when the blessing manifests, remember, it's not a random reward, it's divine reimbursement. The God who watched you obey in tears is the same God now funding you in triumph. You didn't lose anything that heaven won't return, multiplied. And now, I want you to seal this moment with a prophetic act. Go to the comments and type, I obeyed. Not as a performance, but as a declaration. When you write those words, you are testifying to heaven and reminding hell that your obedience still stands. You are saying, I stayed faithful when it cost me. I didn't quit when it hurt. I obeyed. And heaven knows it. That simple phrase carries prophetic power. It affirms your alignment with divine order. Because obedience is not just an act, it's your identity now. You are the one who obeyed when others reasoned, who trusted when others doubted, who waited when others wandered. And that is why your life is about to be funded by the very God who watched you lay it all down. Heaven has begun its audit. The books are open. The records are being reviewed. And the weight of your faithfulness is being measured, This is not a test, it is a reckoning. Every tear, every act of surrender, every hidden yes you whispered in the dark has been recorded. God is a precise accountant. He forgets nothing that was offered in obedience. Chosen one, you may think heaven is silent, but silence doesn't mean stillness. The divine realm moves quietly when it begins to adjust the accounts of the faithful. The season you are walking into is one of divine recalibration. What was withheld will now be released, and what was delayed will now be delivered. The balance is shifting in your favor. You have entered the moment when faith becomes fact. The obedience you offered without applause has reached full maturity, and heaven is now distributing what you sowed. This is not just about financial provision, it is spiritual equity being converted into tangible form. Peace will show up where pain used to live. Joy will bloom where despair once grew. Favor will appear where rejection once lingered. God's OD does not resemble man's judgment. The world measures success by visibility. Heaven measures it by obedience. You may have looked small in their eyes, but in heaven's ledger, your obedience holds weight heavier than gold. The secret place became your investment vault, and heaven's audit is releasing the dividends. You must understand, heaven doesn't reward noise, it rewards consistency. While others fluctuated between faith and fear, you stood your ground. You didn't always understand, but you always obeyed. And that is why the numbers are adding up in your favor. The divine account is clear. Your faithfulness outweighs your failure. Your obedience outweighs your doubt. The audit is not meant to expose you, it is meant to elevate you. It's heaven's way of saying, it's time. For too long, you've been faithful with little. You gave when you barely had enough. You loved when it wasn't returned. You stayed when walking away would have been easier. Those moments are now being converted into favor, opportunities, and divine endorsements. Heaven's audit includes the hidden work, the times you encouraged others while you were breaking, the prayers you prayed for people who never thanked you, the sacrifices you made that no one noticed. All of it is accounted for. All of it is now being weighed and multiplied. And when heaven audits, it does not only repay, it restores. It doesn't just replace what was lost, it perfects what was incomplete. The ledger of your life is being balanced with interest. You thought you were starting over, but heaven calls it settling accounts. The rewards you thought were forgotten are about to arrive with precision. Chosen one. There are moments in every destiny when God reopens the books, not because he needs to remember, but because it is time to reward. This is that moment for you. The handwriting of your obedience has reached the divine treasury. Angels are assigned not to observe anymore, but to release. The audit is turning into an activation. You may not feel it yet, but the alignment is happening. Divine partnerships are being approved. Delayed blessings are being recalculated. The imbalance you endured is being corrected. Heaven's justice system is flawless. It repays with accuracy, and it restores with mercy. There were people who underestimated what you carried because they never saw your records. They saw moments, but heaven saw motives. They saw weakness, but heaven saw willingness. And that willingness has become the foundation for divine compensation. The scales are tipping. Heaven's favor is the counterweight that now overrides every loss. Let the truth be sealed in your heart through the sacred text, the ancient words recorded in Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. Declare, Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Not, this is your proper time. Heaven's audit has found no lack in your endurance. You didn't stop, and that is why you will now see the harvest. The numbers align with grace, not perfection. Heaven never demanded you to be flawless, only faithful. You were, and that is enough. Understand that when heaven funds, it does not issue loans, it gives inheritance. What's being released is not temporary support, it's permanent stability. You will not have to strive to keep what God is about to send. The same obedience that opened this flow will sustain it. As the audit closes, the records will reflect your journey, not as a list of losses, but as a ledger of love. Every yes written in your story has become divine currency. Heaven's report reads one verdict: approved for overflow. The divine reversal has begun. You can feel it like the change in the wind before a new season. The same path that once felt heavy is now being lightened by grace. The same places where doors were locked are now creaking open, not by your strength, but by divine order. Heaven is shifting the landscape around you. The road that used to drain you will now deliver blessings into your hands. Chosen one. Every moment of ridicule is about to turn into revelation. The ones who mocked your obedience will soon witness your abundance. You don't need to announce anything. Your transformation will speak louder than words. When God reverses things, He doesn't just lift you up, He adjusts the entire environment so that your rise becomes undeniable. Think of Joseph, thrown into a pit for his dreams, then into prison for his integrity, only to be promoted into the palace for his obedience. What looked like defeat was actually divine direction. That is what's happening to you now. Heaven is not just giving you restoration, it's giving you recognition. The divine reversal always looks strange at first. It feels too sudden, too undeserved, too fast. But remember, grace often arrives disguised as surprise. The things that once left you empty are now being used as evidence that heaven was watching all along. You didn't lose years. You were being prepared for this hour. The ridicule you faced was prophetic. It proved you were being separated. Every rejection was a redirection. Every delay, a divine detour. You didn't miss the blessing, you matured into it. That's why, when the reversal begins, it fits you perfectly. You don't have to chase it, it finds you ready. Imagine a seed buried deep in darkness. It seems forgotten, unseen. But while hidden, it's expanding. And when the soil finally breaks, the world calls it sudden growth, not realizing it was divine timing all along. That's you, chosen one. Heaven planted you. The burial was not your ending, it was your becoming. The divine reversal doesn't erase your wilderness, it redeems it. It turns every dry season into evidence that you survived. The scars you carry will soon shine as symbols of endurance. Those who once turned away will be drawn to the very light that obedience built within you. You will not need to prove that God was with you. Your results will do it for you. Hear this truth echo from eternity. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 5, "Look at the nations and watch and be utterly amazed. For I am going to do something in your days that you would not believe, even if you were told." And therefore, that's what's coming. Chosen one, unbelievable favor, unimaginable restoration, unexplainable acceleration. The God who watched you sow in silence is now about to shock you with sudden fruit. This reversal won't only bless you, it will redefine you. You'll no longer be the one who endured. You'll be the one who overcame. Heaven doesn't reverse stories halfway. It rewrites them completely. And when God funds what obedience began, nothing and no one can stop it. The people who once overlooked you will see your new season and wonder how it happened so fast. But you'll know it wasn't speed, it was sovereignty. It wasn't luck, it was alignment. You obeyed. You endured. And now heaven endorses when that reversal manifests. Don't forget the soil that grew your strength. Stay humble. Stay grateful. God lifts those who remember where they came from. And when your testimony begins to unfold, share it not for fame, but for faith. Someone else needs to see that obedience still pays. That's why this message exists, to remind you that your breakthrough is not just for you. It's a beacon for someone still buried in their own soil of waiting. So when the reversal comes, speak it, share it, shine it. Let your story become someone else's hope. And if these words have stirred something in your spirit, if you feel the quiet confirmation that heaven is truly reversing what once felt impossible, then I invite you, gently and sincerely, to like, share, and subscribe, not out of routine, but as a ripple of agreement. When you do, imagine it as planting another seed, one that helps this word reach the next weary soul who needs to hear. Your reversal is next. It's not about numbers, it's about nurturing. Every share is a whisper of light into another person's dark place. Every subscription is a silent yes to be part of the movement of restoration that heaven is orchestrating. So, carry this truth. Chosen one, what obedience cost you? Grace will repay. What delay taught you? Destiny will display. The divine reversal has begun, and you are standing right at the center of heaven's unfolding promise. You can feel it, can't you? The air around your spirit is changing. The quiet waiting is giving way to a rush of divine motion. Heaven's treasury is opening, not because you demanded it, but because your time has arrived. The sound you hear in your soul is not imagination, it's the rumble of release. Chosen one. This is the moment when what was promised becomes present. The prophetic release of resources is not future tense anymore, it is now. What was once locked behind time's curtain is now stepping forward into your reality. Heaven's logistics are aligning with your obedience, and the delivery of divine funding has been dispatched. You thought you were forgotten, but heaven was scheduling. You thought doors were closed, but God was reinforcing them so they would never collapse under the weight of what's coming. Every delay was construction, every silence preparation. The treasury of heaven does not move impulsively, it moves perfectly. You have reached the intersection of obedience and manifestation. Every tear, every yes, every sacrifice, each one was a key. And now, all the locks are turning at once. Heaven is releasing not just financial blessing, but divine provision, connexion, influence, and ideas that carry eternal weight. The kingdom is investing in you because you've proven you won't waste it. Chosen one. You must understand that the word funding is not just about money, it is about empowerment. Heaven is sending everything required to fulfill what God assigned to your name. The favor, the wisdom, the strength, all of it is part of this divine transaction. You obeyed when it was costly. Now heaven is covering the cost. And when the release comes, you will recognize it not by noise, but by peace. It will fit perfectly. It won't rush you. It will root you. You will know it's divine because it will arrive without manipulation and multiply without striving. That's the signature of heavenly funding. It flows in order, not in chaos. Every promise that felt suspended is being confirmed. Every vision that seemed impossible is being resourced. You are entering the era of manifestation, where faith graduates into fulfillment. The prophetic word spoken over your life is cashing out in real time. What was declared in spirit is now being distributed in form. Listen, chosen one. This release is not random, it's rhythmic. Heaven moves in patterns, not coincidences. Every wave of blessing is synchronized with divine timing. That's why some things didn't work before. You weren't out of favor, you were out of rhythm. But now, the rhythm has returned. The flow is active. The sound of heaven's provision is moving through your life like a current. And when heaven funds you, it doesn't just provide, it partners. The Spirit of God is co-signing your next chapter. Every resource that comes will carry purpose attached. You won't just receive, you'll redistribute. You won't just build, you'll bless. The prophetic release is not only for your comfort, it's for your commission. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 33, verse 14. My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Lon, that is heaven's promise. You are not walking into provision alone. Presence walks beside you. The same God who provided manna in the wilderness now provides means in your mission. This is divine funding at its purest, peace-filled, purpose-driven, presence-led. You have carried vision without resources, but that ends now. Heaven never lets a faithful vision, the unfunded. The plans that once felt too heavy will suddenly gain wings. The dreams that seemed beyond reach will find hands willing to help. The very places that rejected you will become the platforms that receive you. And now, as a prophetic act of agreement, type the number 444 inches, the comments below, not as superstition, but as a declaration. 4 is the number of establishment, of divine order, taking form in the natural. When you write 444, you are proclaiming, heaven's order is establishing my provision. I'll say it with faith as you type it, not to impress anyone, but to imprint heaven's truth upon your own soul. The number is a sign, a symbol of settled destiny. You're not just hoping for funding, you are walking into it. Chosen one. Your hands will not be empty in this season. The same obedience that built your foundation is now attracting heaven's flow. You will see what you believed. You will hold what you hoped. And when it arrives, it will not feel foreign, it will feel familiar. Because it's been written for you all along. Heaven is funding not only your life, but your legacy. Every gift you carry is being awakened. Every promise revived. Every resource assigned. This is not a mere blessing, it's a divine commission. The release has begun. The treasury is open. The funding is flowing. Obedience has always been misunderstood, but it is the most powerful currency in heaven's economy. The world measures value by possession, but heaven measures it by surrender. The more you lay down, the more you gain. And though this truth sounds paradoxical, the chosen understand it because they've lived it. You, chosen one, have paid with your will what others tried to buy with their words. When you said yes to God, even when no one else would, you entered a covenant that cannot be broken. Your obedience became a divine transaction, an invisible exchange where heaven's resources began to move in your direction. God does not partner with the proud. He invests in the obedient. Your yes is your credit, and heaven always pays its accounts. There is something sacred about obedience. It's not glamorous. It doesn't always make sense, but it is the single most profitable decision a soul can make. You gave God your willingness, and He gave you His weight, His glory, His presence, His favor. That is the great exchange. That is the true wealth of the faithful. The currency of obedience doesn't fluctuate with the economy of the world. It is stable, eternal, and backed by heaven's guarantee. While others chase temporary gain, you've learned the wisdom of slow obedience, of saying yes when you don't yet see the outcome. Every yes became an investment in eternity's ledger. And now, heaven is compounding your obedience into divine returns. This is how heaven funds lives. It converts trust into tangible blessings. Every act of obedience creates a spiritual invoice. When the time is right, God pays in full with interest that overflows. You may not see the system, but it is operating constantly. The laws of faith are as precise as the laws of physics. When you obey, you shift energy. You activate favor. You move heaven's hand. And this is the part few understand. Obedience is not just submission, it's strategy. Every instruction God gave you was a map, not a restriction. Each command was a key to unlock a specific form of provision. Those who rebel think obedience limits them, but the chosen know it launches them. The moment you obey, the impossible starts negotiating with heaven on your behalf. Obedience is spiritual wealth transfer. It moves unseen resources into visible realms. When you obey, you authorize angels to work, circumstances to align, and timing to synchronize. The very laws of creation begin to cooperate with your purpose. It is no wonder that the obedient prosper. Heaven itself fights for their fulfillment. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 3, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Oh, that is the mathematics of heaven. When you commit your actions, heaven commits its resources. Obedience writes the equation, and favor solves it. Every act of faith you've made is being multiplied in unseen ways. While others chase provision, obedience positions you for it naturally. You don't need to beg for what alignment already attracts. Chosen one. Obedience is your signature, your spiritual fingerprint that heaven recognizes. It identifies you among billions as trustworthy. That's why the enemy tried so hard to break your consistency. He knows heaven funds faithfulness. If he can disrupt your obedience, he can delay your flow. But you stayed. You stood. You kept walking when others stopped. And now, the currency of your obedience is maturing. Returns are being released in increments, first in peace, then in provision, then in influence. You are beginning to see that obedience doesn't just change your bank account, it changes your atmosphere. Doors open for you because you carry heaven's authorization code. It's not your resume that moves mountains. It's your record of obedience. You've proven you can be trusted with little. And now the divine system is scaling your capacity. New levels of responsibility come with new levels of funding. Heaven never funds pride, it funds purpose. And obedience is the proof of purpose. Keep walking the path of yes. Keep sowing the seed of surrender. You are not serving a silent God. You are participating in an unseen economy. Every instruction you obey becomes an investment. Every act of trust, a withdrawal waiting to happen. And when the accounts are full, heaven will not just provide, you will overflow. So, hold steady. Chosen one. The currency of obedience never devalues. It only appreciates in time, for every yes draws the attention of the one who rewards faithfulness with favor. And soon, that favor will find you again, funding not just your life, but your legacy. There are forces at work on your behalf that you cannot see. While you've been walking by faith, heaven has been building an invisible network around your destiny. These are not coincidences or random alignments. They are divine assignments in motion. Angels, intercessors, and even strangers are being positioned as the hidden investors of heaven. Chosen one. You must understand, God never calls you to a mission He won't resource. Every divine assignment comes preloaded with provision, and every purpose has investors attached. You were never meant to carry this vision alone. That's why, in moments when you felt like you lacked support, heaven was already preparing it behind the veil. The hidden investors are not all human. Some are spiritual angelic forces dispatched to open doors, move hearts, and influence decisions. Others are earthly people you've never met, who will feel an inexplicable pull to favor you. They won't always understand why they help you. They'll simply know they must. Heaven will whisper to them, your name. Provision is not limited to money. It includes people, platforms, and peace. God sends investors who bring what you cannot create on your own: opportunity, insight, connection, and strength. They are heaven's way of multiplying your obedience. Because you trusted God with your little, He's entrusting others to deliver your much. Do not be surprised when doors begin to open without effort. This is not manipulation, it's manifestation. What's aligning in your life right now is divine strategy. Those who once ignored your work will suddenly notice. The very thing that was hidden will now attract attention. Not because you changed it, but because heaven shifted the spotlight. You may remember seasons when no one seemed to care about what you carried. You felt invisible, unseen, underappreciated. But invisibility is often God's protection. He hides His treasures until the right time, shielding them from misuse. You weren't forgotten, you were preserved. And now, as heaven releases the hidden investors, you will understand why. He kept you covered. Chosen one. These investors are not random connections. They are covenant carriers. They are drawn to your light because it matches their divine assignment. Some will come with resources, some with wisdom, some with favor, but all of them are heaven sent. You won't need to chase them. They will be drawn by the frequency of your obedience, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 14, are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation? That is, heaven's system revealed. You are not laboring alone. Unseen servants have been assigned to ensure completion. Where you lack hands, heaven provides helpers. Where you lack knowledge, heaven sends wisdom. The investors of heaven are not not bound by location, they move by divine instruction. Sometimes they appear in moments of exhaustion. When you are ready to give up, un unexpected encouragement comes. When you are out of resources, someone appears with exactly what you need. That's not coincidence, that's coordination. Heaven does not forget its investments. It multiplies them through unexpected means. You have been praying for provision, but heaven is answering with partnership. The resources may not drop directly from the sky. They will come through the hearts and hands of others who have heard the same God you serve. The divine network is real, and you are already part of it. Be discerning. Though not every offer is from heaven, the counterfeit always arrives just before the authentic. You will know the true investors by the peace they carry. Their presence won't pressure you, it will confirm you. They won't demand control, they will amplify purpose. Chosen one, as you move forward, remember that every helper has a timeline. Some are seasonal, some are lifetime. Don't cling to what was meant to assist you temporarily. When heaven redirects, release graciously. The same God who sent one will send another. Obedience to his rhythm will keep you funded and protected. So, lift your head. You are surrounded by divine investors. Even if your natural eyes can't see them yet, they are moving toward you, guided by grace, carrying what's meant for your hands. The same heaven that called you is now equipping you, ensuring that nothing attached to your obedience dies for lack of support. You are not alone. Chosen one. You never were. You were simply being aligned with those who could carry the weight of what's inside you. Heaven is assembling your team, funding your mission, and fulfilling its word. What was once invisible is now inevitable. The hidden investors of heaven are in motion, and their arrival will change everything. Faith is heaven's currency, but obedience is the collateral. Everything you believed, every risk you took for God's word, became a spiritual deposit that cannot be lost. Chosen one. Every time you trusted God when logic screamed otherwise, you were signing a covenant in invisible ink. That signature, your faith, has value in the unseen realm. There were times when your obedience seemed to produce nothing, when you gave and saw no return, prayed and heard no answer, worked and witnessed no fruit. But the delay was not a denial. It was divine interest accumulating on your obedience. Heaven was matching your surrender with supernatural return. Faith is not fragile. It is the foundation of divine partnership. When you stepped out without proof, heaven took notice. God never ignores faith. He stores it. Your faith became heaven's collateral, proof that you can be trusted with favor, that you will not misuse blessing, that your heart will not corrupt under abundance. You see, when others leaned on calculation, you leaned on conviction. When others relied on evidence, you relied on His word. That's what made you different. Heaven is not funding you because of what you have. It is funding you because of what you proved. Faith is your evidence. Obedience is your receipt. The tests you faced were transactions. Each one measured your capacity for trust. Every time you refused to compromise, your heavenly balance increased. The moments you thought were setbacks were actually spiritual statements, proof of maturity, declarations that you were ready for the next level. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 7, "For we live by faith, not by sight." That is your principle of prosperity. You've been living by faith, and because of that, You are now entering the by-sight phase, where what you believed is about to be seen. Heaven never leaves faith unrewarded. The unseen always manifests when the time is right. Chosen one. Do not underestimate the power of your unseen yes. Faith was not the absence of fear, it was your decision to move through fear. You obeyed in trembling. But heaven counted it as triumph. The courage it took to keep walking when you couldn't see the next step, that's what moves mountains. Faith does not eliminate challenge, it transforms it. The storm that once threatened to drown you has now become your testimony. You learned to walk on what others sank in. You discovered that obedience doesn't always calm the waters, but it gives you authority to walk above them. The reward of faith is not always immediate success, it's enduring strength. Heaven values endurance more than ease. Your faith wasn't just about getting results, it was about building resilience. And that resilience has made you unstoppable in the spirit. This is the mystery of divine economics. Faith multiplies in drought. The less you had to lean on, the stronger your trust became. Every time you chose belief over bitterness, you increased your spiritual capital. And now, that capital is maturing into provision. The divine accounts have been reviewed, and the return is due. You will begin to notice divine coincidences, calls, opportunities, and openings that make no sense in the natural. That's not luck, that's liquidation. Heaven is liquidating your stored faith into visible fruit. You didn't lose anything when you trusted, you simply transferred it into heaven's custody. And heaven always pays back better. Every yes you gave became a seed, every delay became water, every tear became sunlight. Now, the harvest is forming. You may feel overwhelmed as the blessings begin to appear. Don't resist it. You've already paid for it in obedience. This isn't charity, it's divine justice. What you believed for is finally believing back in you. And now, I invite you to seal this revelation. Type, faith wins. On, do it not as routine, but as a declaration. When you write those two words, you're not talking to me, you're talking to your atmosphere. You're telling your past, faith was worth it. You're telling your future, faith will lead me there. You're telling heaven, I'm still standing, and I still believe. It's a short phrase, but it carries eternal weight. It's a flag planted in the soil of your story. It's you saying, I choose to see through heaven's eyes. When you write it, imagine your name echoing through heaven's corridors, marked as one whose faith never failed. Because that's who you are. You're not just a believer, you're an investor in eternity. Your trust has purchased territory in the spirit. Your obedience has opened accounts that your children will one day withdraw from. The legacy of faith never expires. So keep standing, keep believing, and keep walking. Faith was your down payment. And now, heaven is delivering the deed. The contract is complete. Faith won. And so did you. There comes a moment in every divine story when the silence breaks not with noise, but with overflow. You are standing at that moment now. Chosen one. The long nights of lack are giving way to mornings of more than enough. The season of scraping by is ending. You will no longer have to stretch crumbs into meals. Heaven is about to fill your table. The overflow does not arrive as a flood to drown you, but as a river to carry you. It moves steadily, guided by purpose, cleansing away the residue of your old battles. This river doesn't originate from effort, it flows from favor. You have stepped into a current that cannot be stopped, because obedience has opened its course. Think of your life as a cup that has finally been positioned under the right fountain. All this time, the flow was ready, but your posture needed adjusting. Obedience aligned you. And now, what was once trickling is pouring freely. The sound you hear is the rhythm of heaven's generosity. Overflow is not only about abundance, it's about evidence. It is heaven's way of proving that faith was never foolish. Every seed you planted in tears will bloom publicly. Every prayer whispered in the dark will echo in the daylight. God is not giving you overflow to impress people. He's giving it to silence doubt. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 7, verse 38, "Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them." That's you now, the carrier of living flow. The provision you're stepping into won't end with you. It will move through you. You've become a conduit, not a container. When you speak, others will feel life again. When you give, others will see hope again. You are heaven's evidence that overflow is real. And just as rivers flow through valleys, your overflow will touch the low places, the people, dreams, and hearts that have been dry for too long. You won't have to force it. The current will find them. Heaven's generosity is not wasteful, it's intentional. Every blessing you receive has a direction written on it. You are stepping into an atmosphere where favor follows you like fragrance. Doors will open because your name carries the aroma of obedience. Even those who once doubted you will begin to sense something different. You won't have to explain yourself. The evidence will speak. Overflow doesn't argue, it announces. And when the flow begins to spread, remember to remain anchored. Stay grateful. Gratitude keeps the river clear. When you thank God for what's moving, the water stays fresh. When you hoard or fear, it stagnates. The secret to continuous abundance is continuous gratitude. Chosen one. Let this next part rest deep in your spirit. Overflow isn't just about increase, it's about inheritance. The abundance coming into your life is not a random bonus, it's an intentional transfer. What your obedience built is now being rewarded generationally. You're not just receiving for yourself, you're setting up those who will follow you. And when that realization sinks in, you'll understand why this moment matters. Because someone out there is still standing where you once stood, hoping, waiting, praying in their own wilderness. They need proof that God still rewards obedience. Your story might be that proof. So if this message has touched your heart, if it feels like water for your own dry soil, then I invite you gently to like, share, and subscribe, not as an act of routine, but as an act of release. Each click, each share, is like tossing a seed into another person's barren ground. Maybe your small gesture becomes the rainfall they've been praying for. Maybe your obedience becomes someone else's overflow. When you share light, heaven multiplies it. When you give encouragement, heaven amplifies it. This isn't about algorithms, it's about alignment. It's about letting the river keep flowing through you, so it can reach more hearts that thirst for hope. You are the vessel now. Overflow isn't coming to you, it's coming through you. Let it move. Let it bless. Let it heal. Because the more you pour out, the more heaven pours in. That's the divine cycle of abundance. Obedience opens, faith fills, and generosity keeps it flowing. Chosen one. The river has begun to rise. You no longer live in drought. You live in divine flow. You have entered the evidence, season overflow, that silences doubt and glorifies God. And when people see the peace in your eyes, they'll know heaven funded your faith, and your faith never failed. There comes a turning point when those who once gathered to watch you struggle will now gather to witness your stewardship. You are stepping into that turning. The overflow that began in secret is now being entrusted with purpose. Heaven is not simply blessing you, it is promoting you. You are crossing the line between receiving and distributing. Chosen one. This is what obedience was always building toward. The mantle of distribution. You were never called just to survive divine funding. You were called to manage it. Every resource you receive from this point forward is a seed meant for circulation. You are not merely the recipient of heaven's favor. You are now one of its channels. There were times when you questioned why God withheld certain things. It wasn't punishment, it was protection. He couldn't pour into closed hands. But your obedience opened you. Now you are ready to receive and release without hesitation. You've learned that hoarding breaks the flow, but generosity sustains it. Every blessing has a mission. Every resource carries a reason. Some provisions are for your need, others for your assignment, and still others for the needs of those connected to you. The mantle of distribution teaches you to discern the difference. It's not about giving to everything, it's about giving to what carries heaven's fingerprint. This is how you become part of heaven's investment strategy. The Spirit will begin to nudge you towards specific people, causes, and creations. You will sense divine timing guiding your generosity. And as you obey, you'll notice something miraculous. What leaves your hand never leaves your life. It returns multiplied, refined, sanctified. Let the truth be illuminated by Scripture. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in the second letter to the Corinthians. Chapter 9, verse 10. Now he who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will also supply and increase your store of seed, and will enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. And that is your covenant. God gives to givers. The more you distribute, the more He entrusts. He knows you'll use it wisely, because you've proven you can wait, obey, and honor. You are not just being funded, you are being empowered to fund others. This is where the chosen ones differ from the crowd. While others compete for blessing, you collaborate with heaven's purpose. You understand that divine wealth is not about ownership, it's about partnership. You and heaven are now co-investors in destiny. Your assignment will draw you into rooms where influence speaks louder than status. People will come not because you have more, but because you carry something money cannot buy: credibility built through consistency. They will recognize the authority of stewardship upon you. Heaven trusts you because you've proven that increase won't corrupt your heart. Be prepared for the weight of new wisdom. Heaven will teach you timing: when to give, when to build, when to store, and when to pour. The same Spirit who brought you through lack will now instruct you in plenty. You will learn to manage favor the way a conductor guides an orchestra, each act of giving a note in heaven's greater symphony. And in those quiet moments when you wonder, why me? Remember, heaven chooses those who remember the wilderness. You were faithful when nothing flowed. That faithfulness now becomes your qualification. You are a distributor because you understand value, not just material. But éternel. You know what pain feels like, and that empathy will keep your generosity pure. The mantle of distribution is not about fame, it is about function. You are functioning as a channel of divine mercy. Every act of giving will echo beyond your sight. What leaves your hands will travel farther than your name. It will reach souls you'll never meet, moments you'll never see, and generations you'll never touch yet. Heaven will record them all as fruit that came through you. You've crossed into maturity. You no longer chase blessing, you command stewardship. And that stewardship is the highest form of trust heaven can give. To be chosen is one thing, to be trusted with overflow is another. You now carry both. So walk carefully but boldly. Chosen one. You are no longer the one praying for help. You are now the one heaven sends as help. The mantle rests on your shoulders, and its weight is holy. Every act of generosity from this day forward will not just bless others, it will echo in eternity. You can feel it in your spirit. Something greater is aligning. The pieces that once felt scattered are finding their divine order. What was once delayed is now developing right before your eyes. This is not just a season of ideas or promises. This is the season of building. The funded assignment has begun. Chosen one. Everything you've endured was preparation for this moment. Every quiet test, every unseen tear, every act of obedience in obscurity, it was all scaffolding for what heaven is constructing through you now. You are not merely being blessed, you are being positioned to build. The divine funding released over your life isn't random, it's for assignment. God funds what He authors. That's why some of your dreams took longer. They had to be rewritten by His hand before they could be resourced by His treasury. The moment you surrendered your plan, His plan began. The funded assignment is the evidence that heaven has approved your purpose. Now, divine alignment is happening with precision. You will notice ideas coming alive in you again, the ones you once set aside, thinking they were too big or too costly. Heaven says, pick them up. What once looked impossible will now find form because the resources, the people, and the timing have all been synchronized. When heaven funds, nothing remains ordinary. Every step becomes a strategy, every meeting a divine appointment. You'll begin to meet people who seem to have been waiting just for you. They'll speak your language of purpose, and their presence will accelerate your progress. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. It was proclaimed in the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 3. I will give you the treasures of darkness, riches stored in secret places, so that you may know that I am the Lord, the God of Israel, who summons you by name. This is your summons. Chosen one, heaven is calling you by name, releasing the hidden riches that were preserved for your obedience. The resources you need are already allocated. The grace you require is already assigned. You are not waiting on God. God has been waiting on your readiness. The funded assignment carries a sacred rhythm. You will sense when to move and when to rest. You will feel when to speak and when to listen. This is not about hustle, it's about harmony. Heaven does not rush what it intends to last. Every part of this building process will carry peace, even when it requires pressure. Remember, what you are constructing is not a business, a ministry, or a dream alone. It's a legacy of obedience. Heaven will use your hands to create something that outlives you. The blueprints were drawn in eternity. You're just unveiling them in time. That's why nothing you went through was wasted. Every setback became a sketch line in the master design. As you build, Keep your motives pure. The funded assignment is holy work. God will provide not only finances but also discernment to know what belongs in the plan and what does not. Some offers will come wrapped in flattery but filled with distraction. Don't trade divine alignment for human approval. Heaven funds only what honors heaven. You'll begin to see speed that feels supernatural. What used to take months will happen in days. What you thought required connections will appear through conviction. Heaven's favor is your new momentum. It's not luck, it's the law of sowing and reaping, manifesting in real time. And now, as a prophetic act of agreement, type the number 555 inches, the comments below. Not for superstition, but for symbolism. 5 is the number of grace, and 3 5s represent multiplied grace. Grace to build, grace to sustain, and grace to finish. When you type 555, you are declaring, I receive the grace for my funded assignment. Then, as you write it, let it become more than a number. Let it become a seal, a covenant between your obedience and heaven's provision. Say it in your heart as you type, the same God who called me is now equipping me. The same hand that wrote my story is now resourcing it. Oh, this is more than confirmation, it's commissioning. You're stepping into the phase where words become works, where vision becomes vessel. Heaven is partnering with your hands. The funded assignment will not drain you, it will define you. Chosen one. The time for wondering has ended. The time for building has come. You are not behind schedule, you are right on divine time. Every delay prepared capacity, and every silence produced structure. Now, the appointed time has found you. Walk forward with assurance. Heaven is underwriting your mission. Angels are protecting your path, and grace is your daily currency. Build boldly. Build beautifully. Build faithfully, for what you are constructing will testify that God funds what obedience begins. It begins subtly, the way favor starts to speak for you when you're not even in the room. Emails appear. Introductions are made. And your name starts to circulate among circles you never sought out. This is not coincidence, it is divine marketing. Heaven is amplifying your name, not for vanity, but for visibility. The world is beginning to recognize what heaven already approved. Chosen one. You have entered the season where heaven markets your name. This isn't the shallow fame the world chases. This is divine endorsement. Your obedience has become your advertisement. Heaven itself is your promoter. The same hands that once held your tears are now placing your name in the hearts and mouths of people who can open doors for your destiny. You've spent years being hidden, developing in silence, while others displayed their half-formed gifts. But now, God is revealing you in the right timing. Heaven never markets immaturity, it markets integrity. You have been tested in character so that your exposure would not destroy you. You've proven you can handle attention without losing humility. And now, heaven is expanding your influence. When God markets your name, He doesn't need permission from people. He moves through whispers and wonders. He places your story in conversations, your presence in rooms, your message in moments that shape nations. You will begin to notice how what once felt ignored suddenly feels illuminated. The same efforts that once fell flat will now bear fruit without struggle. That's the difference between striving and shining. Striving depends on effort. Shining depends on divine endorsement. Every destiny has its revealing season. This is yours. The years of foundation have prepared you for function. Heaven is no longer keeping you hidden because your assignment requires visibility. You are being positioned where your voice, your work, and your obedience can now influence and impact. The platform may look different for each chosen one, but the purpose is the same: to glorify the one who funded your life. Divine marketing doesn't look like human promotion. The world advertises with noise. Heaven advertises with weight. When you speak now, people will feel the gravity of truth. When you move, others will follow the anointing without understanding why. That's because heaven has placed its signature upon you. The authenticity you cultivated in silence now becomes your authority in visibility. But remember, visibility is not vanity. It is responsibility. You are being seen not to be celebrated, but to be effective. Every appearance, every opportunity, every open door is an altar, not a stage. The light on you is meant to reveal the God in you. That's how heaven markets, by magnifying purpose through presence. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. When heaven markets your name, it's never about mere success. It's about stewardship of a divine plan. You are being placed strategically, not where you'd prefer to be, but where you're needed most. Sometimes favor will lead you into rooms that challenge you. Other times, it will elevate you beyond your comfort. But every place heaven sends you is a platform for purpose. Chosen one. Guard your heart as God amplifies your voice. Attention can be intoxicating if not anchored. Remember that your influence is alone, not a possession. The same humility that carried you through the wilderness must remain in the spotlight. People will praise your results, but not see your roots. Don't let their applause uproot your foundation. There will also be critics, because every elevation reveals envy. Don't respond to them. You don't need to defend what heaven promotes. The same God who raised you will sustain you. Your vindication will be the fruit of your obedience. Divine marketing has this strange beauty. It requires no manipulation, no competition, no compromise. You don't have to chase attention. Attention will be drawn to what God is doing in you. The light on your life will be undeniable, not because you sought it, but because you became it. And the more heaven markets your name, the quieter you'll need to stay inside. The deeper your roots must go, the stronger your gratitude must remain. For those who know that their visibility is a vessel, not a throne, heaven continues to expand their reach. So move forward with reverence. Heaven has chosen to amplify you, not because of your perfection, but because of your persistence. Your obedience has become a billboard for grace. Every place your name travels will carry the fragrance of faithfulness. You will soon discover that divine marketing isn't about your fame, it's about His fulfillment. God is broadcasting your life as proof that obedience still prospers, that faith still works, and that integrity still matters. Let your life speak. Chosen one. The world is listening now. Kingship has never been about crowns or applause. True kingship begins when a heart learns stewardship. Chosen one. You are entering that dimension now. Heaven has not simply elevated you, it has entrusted you. What you are carrying is no longer just a blessing, it's a responsibility. And the way you handle that responsibility will determine how long your reign lasts. This is the realm of crown economics, where heaven's wealth moves through wisdom, not wishfulness. You've crossed from survival into structure. God is not just giving you more, He's teaching you how to govern what He gives. Every resource, every connection, every open door, these are royal assets. And kings must learn administration before expansion. When heaven funds your life, it expects management. You've prayed for increase. Now heaven is observing how you handle it. Every act of stewardship is an act of worship. The way you spend, the way you give, the way you plan, these reveal whether you are managing as a servant or reigning as a steward. The difference is perspective. A servant waits for instruction. A steward anticipates need. The principle of crown economics is simple. Heaven funds purpose. But purpose must sustain principle. Abundance is not maintained by prayer alone. It's sustained by wisdom. You are learning that giving is not loss. Saving is not fear. And planning is not unbelief. They are all languages of royal discipline. When Solomon asked for wisdom instead of wealth, heaven responded by giving him both. Why? Because wisdom is wealth in seed form. The chosen who understand that principle never go broke. They multiply in every season. You've reached a point where heaven is not testing your faith anymore. It's training your foresight. According to what is written in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 5, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. And wisdom is heaven's open account, free to withdraw for those who rule with righteousness. You've been given permission to ask, not for more things, but for more understanding, because knowledge fills, but wisdom flows. And those who walk in wisdom will never run dry. Chosen one, remember that kingship requires balance. You are both ruler and servant, ruler over resources. Servant to God's plan. If you try to reign without reverence, your abundance becomes arrogance. But when reverence leads, riches serve their purpose. That is the essence of crown economics. Submission sustains sovereignty. There will be moments when God asks you to release something that seems necessary. Do not resist. Royal obedience is never about the amount. It's about the alignment. When heaven tests you in release, it's never to subtract. It's to prove that you can be trusted with more. Every time you obey quickly, the crown fits more securely. You may notice that what used to feel like enough no longer satisfies. That's because your assignment is expanding. Heaven doesn't stretch your resources first. It stretches your perspective. You are no longer managing for survival. You are managing for generations. This is legacy territory. What you establish in this phase will ripple far beyond your years. The principles of crown economics apply to more than money. They apply to time, energy, relationships, and influence. How you allocate them determines the level of divine efficiency in your life. You cannot pour endlessly without replenishing. Even kings must rest. Even stewards must pause. Learn to listen to the rhythm of heaven's flow. There will be days to pour and days to plan, moments to act and moments to reflect. Wisdom is knowing the difference. To rule well, you must rest well. The king who called you never rushes. He reigns in rhythm. And when you face decisions that feel too large for logic, remember, wisdom will whisper what strategy cannot shout. The same Spirit that funded your faith will now fund your foresight. You will make choices beyond your experience because you will move with divine intuition. That is the mark of one who walks in royal grace. Your reign is not for control, it's for contribution. Heaven didn't crown you to compete, it crowned you to complete what others started. The wealth of wisdom flowing through you is meant to restore what generations lost. You are the correction, the continuation, the completion of a divine plan written long before your name was known. So wear your crown humbly. Rule your resources righteously. Govern your influence with grace. For kingship is not about the gold around your head, but the God within your heart. And as long as you remember that, heaven will keep funding your throne, expanding your reach, and multiplying your impact. This is crown economics, the holy balance between power and purpose, abundance and alignment. And you, chosen one, have been entrusted to model it for a watching world. There are moments in life when heaven stops whispering and begins to demonstrate. You have entered such a moment now. The evidence is rising around you, the proof of divine backing. The things that once resisted you are now releasing you. The closed doors are beginning to open not because of luck, but because of lineage. You are marked by heaven's hand, and the earth is beginning to respond. Chosen one, divine backing is not loud, it is lasting. It doesn't announce itself. It proves itself through results that cannot be explained by human effort. The shift in your life is not coincidence, it's confirmation. The favor surrounding you is not ordinary, it's orchestration. You are being carried by an unseen current that only flows for those who obeyed when others resisted. Think of a sailboat. It cannot move by its own strength. It must catch the wind. Obedience was your sail, and now the wind of heaven is filling it. You are no longer rowing by force, you are gliding by flow. This is the difference between striving and grace. Striving is self-powered. Grace is God-powered. And right now, you are moving by grace. The proof of divine backing is peace. When something is truly from God, it doesn't create chaos, it brings clarity. You no longer need to chase opportunities. They recognize you. You no longer have to explain your worth. Heaven has already advertised it. The same people who once doubted you will soon ask how you did it. And your only answer will be, God funded it. Oh, when heaven backs you, evidence multiplies quietly. Small doors become great ones. Ordinary moments become divine setups. The right words come at the right time. The right people appear at the right place. And your steps begin to match the rhythm of eternity. It's not coincidence, it's choreography. The Spirit has been guiding your every movement. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 31, still echo today. If God is for us, who can be against us? That is the essence of divine backing. You are unstoppable not because of position, but because of presence. The same God who called you has not withdrawn his support. He stands behind every word spoken over your life. The power sustaining you is not human, it is holy. And when you understand that, fear loses its voice. Anxiety has no claim on the one covered by divine endorsement. You don't need to convince anyone that you are chosen. The results will testify for you. Just as light needs no argument to prove its brightness, your life will need no defense once the proof manifests. Chosen one. Take a moment and look at your journey. You survived things that should have silenced you. You endured storms that others couldn't withstand. You obeyed through confusion, trusted through tears, and waited through warfare. That history is not wasted. It's the evidence that your faith has been verified. The signs that follow will not only confirm your calling, but will inspire others to rediscover theirs. You will become living proof that God still backs those who walk by faith. Miracles will not feel dramatic anymore. They will feel natural. They will follow you, not because you chase them, but because you embody the conditions they require: obedience and trust. And as these testimonies begin to unfold, let them ripple outward. Share your story not for recognition, but for restoration. Someone needs to hear that divine backing is real, that surrender still works, that faith still funds. Your words might be the spark that reignites another weary soul's hope. So, if this message resonates deep within you, if it feels like water to a soul that's been thirsty for proof, then I invite you gently and sincerely to like, share, and subscribe, not as a habit, but as an act of harmony. Each action is like lighting a candle. It helps this flame travel farther, into places that need its glow. And after you've done that, leave a comment below. Just write, "I am backed." It's more than a phrase, it's a proclamation. You're declaring that you recognize what's happening around you. You're aligning your confession with your confirmation. You're saying to heaven, "I see it, I believe it, and I receive it." When you type those words, you're joining a chorus of believers who know that divine favor is not a myth, it's a movement. Your journey is the sermon now. Your success is the scripture being written before the world's eyes. You don't have to shout it, just live it. The grace on your life will speak in ways words never could. So breathe deeply. Chosen one, the winds of divine backing are behind you. You don't have to push anymore. The current will carry you where calling has called you. The evidence is undeniable. The favor is visible. And your life is now the living proof that heaven funds what faith begins. There is a moment in every journey when abundance stops feeling like a miracle and starts feeling like a rhythm. That's where you are now. Chosen one. The flow has become steady, the provision consistent, the guidance clear. You no longer wonder if God will provide. You simply listen for how He will. You've entered the state of divine sustainability, walking in unlimited supply. This isn't the excess the world pursues, it's the equilibrium heaven establishes. In this rhythm, you're no longer reacting to lack, you're responding to overflow. Every need is met before it becomes urgent. Every step is resourced before it's taken. You've transitioned from surviving by miracles to living as one. Unlimited supply is not measured by what fills your hands, but by what no longer empties your heart. You've learned to detach your peace from possession. You know now that true wealth isn't stored in accounts, but anchored in assurance. Even when things shift outwardly, inwardly, you remain unshaken. Because heaven has built an ecosystem around your obedience. Chosen one. What you are experiencing is not coincidence, it's covenant. God promised that those who seek first His kingdom would have everything else added. And He is fulfilling that promise through your life. The supply you walk in now is not random generosity, it's the result of divine governance. Heaven has become your supplier, your scheduler, and your sustainer. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 34, verse 10. The lions may grow, weak and hungry, but those who seek the Lord lack no good thing. You have become living proof of that verse. You've witnessed scarcity transform into sufficiency, not through striving, but through surrender. Heaven has taught you the art of resting. While resourced, you no longer chase, you channel. You no longer plead, you partner. That is the secret of the unlimited partnership replaces panic. The world teaches that provision comes from performance. Heaven teaches that it flows from presence. You've discovered that being where God wants you to be is the highest form of productivity. You don't need to manufacture opportunities. You simply need to maintain obedience. Wherever you stand in alignment, supply will find you there. You are learning that unlimited supply is not the absence of need, it's the constant presence of sufficiency. Even when one well dries up, another opens. The rhythm of heaven ensures continuity. The birds don't fear the end of the day because they trust the morning to feed them again. That same confidence now lives inside you. This is the level of faith that cannot be shaken by circumstance. It's no longer hope for provision. It's identity in provision. You are not hoping for supply. You are a vessel of it. Wherever you go, resources align because you carry the flow with you. Chosen one. In this realm, generosity becomes effortless. You no longer fear running out because you've discovered the truth. You cannot deplete what heaven replenishes. Giving becomes joy, not sacrifice. You give, not to lose, but to prove that the well never runs dry. You've become a living stream, flowing from the river of divine abundance. Even your relationships are changing. The people drawn to you now are not consumers but co-carriers. They bring peace, not pressure. Heaven builds sustainable connections in this stage, partnerships that multiply rather than drain. The same way oil flowed only when the vessels were ready. Your circle is being refined to hold what's flowing through you. Sometimes, walking in unlimited supply will feel quiet. It's not always fireworks, it's faithfulness. The constancy itself is miraculous, the way peace follows you into every room, the way favor greets you in unexpected forms, the way divine timing threads through every day. The small consistencies are the great miracles of maturity. But remember, unlimited does not mean uncontrolled. The flow follows stewardship. As long as your heart remains open and humble, the stream remains full. The moment you believe it belongs to you, the current slows. Heaven entrusts only what humility can hold. That's why this stage isn't about more, it's about mastery. You've mastered the rhythm of reliance. You know the provider better than the provision. You've stopped measuring success by increase and started measuring it by intimacy. You're no longer chasing supply, you're chasing the source, and that pursuit ensures you'll never run dry. Chosen one. This is your inheritance, to live from overflow, not occasional blessing, to walk daily in quiet abundance, not noisy striving, to be sustained by heaven's unseen hand, so consistently that others can only call it miraculous. You've become the evidence of a kingdom principle. Obedience attracts funding. Faith maintains flow. And gratitude multiplies it. You walk in unlimited supply, not because of your strength, but because you never let go of trust. And as long as that trust remains unbroken, the river will keep rising. The wells will keep refilling, and your life will remain a living stream of divine provision. You've reached the summit of revelation now. Chosen one, the place where everything that once felt disconnected finally aligns. The journey from obedience to overflow has brought you here, to the realization that divine funding was never just about receiving, it was about becoming. You are no longer merely sustained by heaven, you are sustained for heaven. You have become the anointed financier of heaven, a vessel through which God's abundance finds expression and purpose. At this stage, you don't just experience blessing, you administer it. You no longer ask for opportunities, you create them. Your provision has turned prophetic, and your wealth has become a witness. What you carry is more than currency, it's kingdom capital. Heaven trusts you with influence, not because of what you have, but because of who you have become. This is the sacred paradox. Divine wealth is not measured in numbers, but in names, lives touched, hearts restored, souls awakened through your obedience. You were never chosen just to be filled. You were chosen to fund faith, to empower others to rise into their own divine purpose. The abundance in your hands is heaven's vote of confidence in your stewardship. To walk as heaven's financier is to live in perpetual partnership with purpose. You've discovered that money, favor, and opportunity are merely tools in the hands of the obedient. They move where mission demands. Your assignment has shifted from asking, "What can I gain?" to asking, "What can I give that will multiply eternity?" That shift is the crown of maturity, the highest currency of the chosen. As the apostle wrote in the letter to the Philippians, chapter 4, verse 19, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus." This verse is not just a promise, it's your reality. You've witnessed how heaven funds vision, how glory becomes provision, how obedience becomes infrastructure for miracles. You've lived the equation, faith plus faithfulness equals favor. Chosen one. You are now entrusted to build what others only dreamed of. You are the financier of hope, the restorer of foundations, the bridge between prayer and manifestation. Every resource attached to you carries purpose beyond profit. You no longer chase wealth. Wealth chases purpose through you. You've become a divine investor in eternity's projects. Understand this. Your abundance will outlive you. Heaven never funds a single life. It funds legacy. Every act of generosity you release will echo through time. The schools you help, the hearts you heal, the voices you amplify, these are your true returns. The divine accountant in heaven records impact, not income. You are wealthy because your obedience has become generational. The anointing you carry is not loud, but it is lasting. It's the quiet authority of one who knows they're backed by glory. The same favor that funded your journey will now flow through you to others. You will be drawn to needs you were uniquely designed to meet. Heaven's treasury will replenish you as quickly as you release, ensuring the flow never falters. And as you continue this walk, humility must remain your compass. Remember, every gift is on loan, every provision temporary, every opportunity sacred. The greatest wealth is still intimacy with the one who provides it all. If you hold that truth close, you will never be enslaved by what you steward. You will rule from rest, not rush from confidence, not control. This stage of your journey is not a conclusion, but a continuation. The anointed financiers of heaven never retire. They recycle grace. You are stepping into an era where every act of faith funds someone else's miracle. You will watch doors open for others because you sowed when it was hardest. You will see visionaries thrive because you decided to give rather than hoard. The blessing upon you will not just sustain lives, it will spark movements, kingdom projects, voice, and innovations will rise because heaven trusted you first. Your obedience has become an ecosystem. Every person touched by your faith will carry a fragment of that flow into their own assignments. And thus, the cycle continues, funded, fuelit, forever, fruitful, chosen one. This is what you were built for. You obeyed when others ignored. You believed when others doubted. And now, the same heaven that recorded your obedience is releasing your reward. You are the living bridge between promise and provision, the evidence that when God funds a life, He funds it to fund others. The era of mere survival has ended. You now walk as one commissioned to sustain others. Your legacy will not be defined by what you kept, but by what you released. You are the proof that God does not fund greed, He funds grace. And as long as grace remains the currency of your heart, the vault of heaven will never close to your name. The journey has reached its final note. But the melody continues to echo. You've walked from obedience through wilderness, from surrender to overflow. And now you stand as living evidence that heaven truly funds those who stay faithful. Every word you've heard was a reminder of who you are, God's chosen one, a vessel of purpose, a carrier of divine provision. But this isn't an ending, it's an awakening. The story God began in you is still unfolding, somewhere out there. Another weary soul is standing where you once stood unsure, waiting, praying for confirmation that obedience still matters. Let your voice be the bridge that carries this message forward. If this series has spoken to your heart, if you've felt heaven whisper through these words, then I invite you gently to like, share, and subscribe, not for numbers, but for nurture. Each act of sharing is a ripple that may reach the one who needs it most. And in the comments below, write, "I am funded." Let it be your final declaration, your seal of faith, your testimony to heaven and to yourself, that what God begins, He always sustains. You obeyed, and now you are funded for life.